Having a well-defined and efficient workflow is essential to any film project, and whether you are a complete beginner or seasoned veteran, striving to improve your efficiency is an effort you have to put some time into. If you're interested in speeding things up in the post-production department, consolidating processes, or even eliminating a few steps, this two-part video series will help guide you down the path of least resistance. Part 1 will focus on proper organization of your field assets leading up to the edit, and in Part 2 we'll dive into the software. I'm going to keep this very fast-paced so you can learn what you need and get back to being creative as quickly as possible. The tightness of your post-production really starts before you even shoot. It's one thing to be organized, but you need to make it easy to be organized, or else you might find yourself getting sloppy and breaking your own rules. Here's some things you can do before shooting. Create a folder structure and stick to it. You want all of your assets, from now until the final renders have been exported, to have a home. A home that looks exactly the same for all your projects going forward. I like to place this template, so to speak, in my Dropbox, so I can just copy and paste it when a new project gets going. Your results may vary, but this is a solid model I've been using for the past 10 years. Spreadsheets are your friends, especially when it comes to filmmaking. That's why you should create templates for any kind of paperwork and organizing before you get rolling. Budgets, call sheets, scripts, invoices, whatever you use more than once, it's worth making a template. Also, you need a master database for all your projects. This spreadsheet will have basic info about each project for reference, but most importantly, it will let you know on which external memory device to find your files. This is not necessarily important for the project you're currently working on, but will show its use in the future. First, we have the location of our media. More on this in the next segment. Here we have the name given to the project, the client of the project if needed, and in this column I have a checkbox indicating whether or not I've finished logging the photos into Lightroom. More on that in segment 3. This column indicates whether or not I've gone through all the media and selected clips for a demo reel, and other metadata like keywords, location, shoot dates, and the invoice number, as well as the genre. I use and recommend Apple numbers, but I suggest staying away from any kind of third-party project managing software that's web-based. You need to log in and update all the time, and it's just another step that's not necessary. Again, the idea is to keep this as simple as possible. Now that we have all of our templates, we're ready to go out and shoot a movie. We're now out in the field acquiring media, and we need to get these cards safely backed up and back to the production team. The most important rule in all this is to make sure everything is in at least 2 places. Therefore, make sure you have at least 2 external hard drives to download to. Copy and paste that pre-made folder structure we talked about in segment 1 into both drives and change the name of the top folder to your project name. Perhaps you've been dragging and dropping, or worse yet, maybe you've used third-party software in the past, like ShotPut Pro, to do your transfers. But that's completely unnecessary, and frankly it's offensive that they charge you to copy and paste your own footage. The best method I've found to use is a bit of code in your terminal. It's essentially what ShotPut does, minus the fancy interface. Now, navigate to your newly acquired media, open a terminal window, type in this code, then drag in your media, adding a backslash meaning you want what's inside that folder. Add a space, then drag in the folder you want the media to transfer to. Add a backslash, then hit enter. The progress flag we typed in at the beginning allows us to see this verbose list on the progress of the media transfers. The AE flag stands for extended attributes, meaning to make sure that all the contents are transferred, including the hidden files. The reason this method is superior is A, it's faster, and B, if for any reason the transfer stops, like the power runs out of your laptop or the cable gets pulled, you can just type the same code in and the transfer will pick up right where it left off. No files or folders will get corrupted, and you won't have to start that 3 terabyte transfer over from the beginning. You'll notice I didn't go overboard with messy subfolders in the main video folder, based on the date, the camera letter, or the scene. That can all be sorted out in the editing software if you prefer. Once the footage has finished downloading to the first drive, repeat the same process to get the files onto the other drive. With this command, you're cloning folders, which really comes in handy as you'll see. Once the media is on both drives, then and only then is it okay to format the memory cards to continue shooting on them. When more media comes in, just repeat the same process. Take the footage source from card 2 and transfer it to the video folder on the drive using rsync. Then clone the folder with the folder on the backup drive. Always keeping in mind the source comes first in the code, then the destination. Repeat this process until your shoot is finished and you are ready to transfer the footage onto your editing system. Just like camera memory cards, the goal here is to keep the hard drives we used in the field available for more use. Before you start ingesting the media into your editing software, you need to transfer the footage off these field drives and onto their new home for life. Once you find a suitable home with enough space, use a label maker and give the drive a name, noting down the name and other information into your master project database we discussed in segment 1. Begin transferring all the media from your recent shoot to this hard drive. I use Western Digital 4TB 5400 RPM drives for storing footage and a basic toaster setup. It hasn't failed me yet. Once that's done, do it again. Remember, everything must exist in 2 places minimum at all times. Clone that drive with the other drive. Once that is done, do it again. This time you'll put it on a dedicated SSD drive that's suitable for working off of. Once everything is on your work drive, disconnect the external media drives and put them on your shelf. Now that all your footage is online, you're ready to get into the software. I don't know about you, but I'm always constantly going back to previous projects to find a media, so putting a little upfront time cost at this stage will pay off big in the future. I use Lightroom for basically all my metadata purposes, and I have a single Lightroom catalog with all the photos I've ever taken in it. Before importing your footage, create a collection set and give it the exact name of the external hard drive your project is in. Create a collection inside this collection set with the exact name of the project. Now import the photos from the stills folder and add it to the collection. Once everything is imported, begin adding your metadata. I have developed these plugins for Lightroom with specific metadata options that suit my project needs. If you would like to get something like this built specifically for your Lightroom workflow, donate to our Escaping Time Patreon and I will send you a custom-built plugin. You'll notice the categories precisely resemble the fields in our master project database. Fill the same information in here as well. You can either select all in the grid view and enter the metadata to apply to all images, or just the first one, select all, and click the Sync Metadata button. I also have metadata categories for the wildlife I photograph. This allows me to quickly locate, say, my favorite Cape Buffalo photo taken in Africa with a particular camera body and the external drive the photo is located in. I just sorted through 15 years and 181,000 photos and found exactly what I was looking for within 10 seconds. That's the power of metadata. In the next video, we will get into the editing side of things and making this red footage look its best in Premiere Pro and After Effects. Click here to start watching.